Esther remembers having a conversation with a very intellectual, genius sort of a man who is the head of an institution. He is the most learned man that Esther and Jerry have ever spent any time in conversation with. And when Esther would say to him, well, you know, I believe, he would interrupt her almost immediately and say to her, I know you do. I know you do. Which was his nice and yet sort of snarky way of letting her know that he knows that she believes it, but he does not believe it. But he knows that she believes it, but he does not believe it. But he knows that she believes it, but he does not believe it. And what we're wanting to say in a really emphatic way is that the universe will shore up your beliefs. The universe will shore up your beliefs. If you believe that there's not enough money to go around, the universe will make sure that you understand that personally. If you believe that the world is mostly made up of ornery people, the universe will make sure that you are surrounded by that, because what you believe is your point of attraction. And so saying, I want to do what's true, I want to do what's true, I want to do what is believable, I want to know what is established or documented by the proof of reality. We say that really is a terrible, terrible criteria for what you choose to give your attention to. Because the universe will make cancer true, even though you don't want it. It will make poverty true, even though you don't want it. It will make confusion true, even though you don't want it. And so we just want to remind you that you get to choose what you make true. You get to choose what you believe. Many people will say, oh, Abraham, you must have your head in the clouds. And we say, we do. They would say, you must not be facing reality at all. And we say, we never, ever do. We do not face reality because we, like you, are creators of reality. And we do not understand why anyone would continue to create a reality that they do not want. Do you get that? Why would anybody create a reality that they do not want? So there's not one of you who is deliberately creating things that you do not want. And yet there are plenty among you and around you who are living things that you do not want. So how do you explain that? What's the explanation? Why are people living unwanted things if they do not want to live unwanted things? Abraham, you can't be serious. There must not be deliberate creation, because no one would deliberately do that to themselves. And we say, we agree. We don't think that you would deliberately do it, but we think that you might do it by default. We think you might develop patterns of thought and patterns of expectation. We think you might let CNN train you. We think you might let your mother train you. We think you might let your father train you. We think you might let things train. We think you might, and here's the big thing. We think you might let reality train you. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Because isn't there a reality that I should focus upon? And we say, that reality is old news. There is a vibrational reality that you're wanting to turn your attention toward. It's this vortex where your furthest most thoughts have expanded to, where the source within you has joined them. In other words, if you were letting reality train you, then nothing could change. If there were not new ones coming in who are not steeped in reality, life would cease to be, but that will never be, of course. Because there are always the new, optimistic ones being born, while the older, pessimistic ones are croaking. There are always new influxes of expectant energies, remembering that you are the creator of your own reality. So, are we really asking you to stop observing what is? That really is not our message, because we understand, as you did before your birth, that in your observation of what is, you will find many things wanted and unwanted. And it was known by you then, and it is known by us now, and some of you are coming around to really getting it now also, that while you are focusing upon the aspects of this physical time-space reality that do not please you, that as you focus upon that problematic thing that you're focused upon, that there is a new and improved solution that is sprouting out of it. Because in this vibrational universe, there are two sides to every wave, equivalent sides to every wave. So when you sort of know what you don't want, you sort of know what you do want. When you really know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. There is this asking that is coming out of everything that you are living. So when this reality that you are focused upon is showing you a problem, what you don't realize that we do realize, because we're over here standing in the full receipt of it, is your problem is causing an equivalent solution to come into focus. And the more you are willing to focus in detail on the problem, the more detailed the solution becomes. And that's what evolution is. That's what the evolution of all species is. It's what the evolution of the universe is. Now, you're not as excited about expansion as we are, because we understand that that process of knowing what you don't want and therefore knowing what you do want, we understand that that is expansion that equals eternity. We understand that without your ability, leading edge, blessed genius beings that you are, without your ability and willingness to focus in this reality-based, time-space reality, you would not have the detail to ask for the detail of the expansion. But you do. You're asking for it. You're asking for it all day, every day. And we have never, ever, ever experienced a time-space reality where the asking was greater and therefore the eternity was moving forward as rapidly. In other words, you are putting so much into this vortex. There are generations that will benefit from the contrast that you're living now. Now that's a given. Whether you get it or not, that's a done deal. In other words, future generations are already queued up to be born on the wave that you all are launching as a result of the contrast that you are exploring and defining and harvesting for expansion. That is a magnificent thing that you are contributing to all that isness. But this gathering isn't about that, because that happens whether you know that it's happening or not. That will be always. That will be always. That will always be. That's just the way it is. That will always be. The question that this Art of Allowing gathering wants to address fully, completely, beyond anything that has ever been discussed before in the hours that are before us on this cruise, the question that we are really wanting to explore together is, how much of that expansion are you going to allow yourself to taste the sweetness of now? Not after you croak, not when you're part of a next generation. How much of the joy of the expansion that you have carved out as individuals and mass consciousness are you going to allow yourself to participate in now? How much of it are you going to explore now? And the answer to that question is in this very simple understanding. It really comes down to this. Are you facing reality, or are you facing vibrational reality? Are you approaching life from inside the vortex or from outside the vortex? Are you approaching life from a state of alignment with who you are, or from a state of defensive misalignment with who you are?